All right, you guys, in this segment we're going to talk about boat trailers. We're going to talk about the proper fit for a boat trailer, how to choose the right trailer, and common problems that go wrong with trailers and how to maintain them. So for that I wanted to enlist an expert to help me with this. So I'm with Scott McGowan at Trailer Depot of Sarasota. I'm going to list all his information in this module, and it's also going to be on the screen, so you can always reach out to him if you have any specific questions. But we're going to go ahead and get started and talk about boat trailers.
Okay. Hello, my name is Scott. My family owns and operates Trailer Depot of Sarasota in beautiful Sarasota, Florida. We're the area's largest full-service dealer. We carry cargo trailers, utility trailers, but I've been asked today to start and talk about boat trailers. So let's start on figuring out what you need when you buy a trailer. All right. As far as the appropriateness of a trailer, that really falls upon the dealer to figure out what is the right trailer for your needs. We always start with the year, make, and model of the trailer, and then we bracket ourselves in. Do you need a single axle? Do you need a tandem axle? What kind of weight capability is it? What are you looking for in a trailer? There's basically three design. There's painted steel, freshwater only. Painted steel trailer is going to, in a saltwater environment, it's going to be the kiss of death. And then you have the old tried and true galvanized trailers. Been around forever, still very appropriate. Very often they might be the most economical choice. Galvanized trailers do have a shelf life. Galvanizing is not forever. Then you have aluminum trailers. They are the most suitable for saltwater environments. Those are the ones we usually carry here at the depot. The aluminum trailers still have galvanized parts in them though. So there are parts in there that will rust over time. So nothing is all aluminum. Nothing is completely rust-free. So that's what we're going to go through right now. All right. We tend to lean towards, when we start getting to the bigger trailers, anything over about 17 or 18 feet. What we usually keep in stock are aluminum frame trailers. They have the aluminum cross members. The axles are still going to be galvanized because of strength. The tongues, the winch posts, those are all still going to be galvanized steel because of strength. But the way we do them here is we get them with a stainless steel hardware, aluminum frames. We get them radial tires. We think that's an appropriate upgrade. We get torsion axles instead of spring axles, which I'll go through that in a second. Depending on the size of your boat and the number of axles, it may need to or be required to have brakes or not. And that's, to us, we think that's up to the dealer to decide. It is not really up for the customer to try and pick a trailer. And so what we try to do is we take your length, we take the weight, we take the hull configuration. A shallow hull boat is going to take maybe a different bunk configuration than a deep V hull, and certainly different than a tri hull. All right. So what we look for is we start with our single axle trailers, such as these. Very basic. These are going to be appropriate for up to about 20 feet, usually up to about 3,000 pound carry capacity. They do not require brakes. Anything over one axle by Florida law is required to have brakes on all axles. There are a few exceptions, such as some pontoon trailers that need tandem axles because of length, but not because of weight carrying. All right, but other than that, we do not build trailers without the appropriate braking that is required by law. So when you're looking for a trailer, there's a couple things you need to keep in mind. In the suspension, you have the basic, you have spring suspension, okay? Then you have torsion suspension. The torsions are a little bit better for salt water, and let's take a look at the differences. All right, so first you see spring axles, old-fashioned, but still very appropriate. The main thing about spring axle trailers in a saltwater environment is the springs are consumable. You just have to accept that. They're like tires, anything like that. If you take care of them, you might get 6 or 7 years out of a set of springs. If you do not take care of them, you'll be lucky to get 1 or 2 years out of a set of springs. Not really expensive to replace. They are a little bit less expensive to purchase. But most people want to go with the torsions, which is our next ones. And you can see that the springs are gone. The suspension is built into the cross member. It's a square tube with 4 rubber cords. The compression of the cords is the suspension. And so these are much more appropriate for saltwater usage. You know, it's a matter of preference, and it's a matter of pocketbook is what it comes down to. What we find is that most people do prefer the torsion arms and the torsion suspension in saltwater usage because it will require less maintenance over time. All right, these are single axle. These do not require brakes. Okay, we have a trailer over here pulled out that's one of our customers. It's a very large tandem. This is for a cat. It does have the torsions. It does have the brakes. Anything getting much over 20 to 22 feet that by weight is going to require a tandem axle trailer. Expect to have brakes on both axles. Brakes are probably the single biggest issue that people have and complaint on trailers in saltwater, like the springs. Brakes are a consumable item. It's just plain. We're all kind of used to the brakes on our cars lasting for 10 years before we have to replace the pads. Not the case. Unless you're going to spring for the stainless steel brake setup, which is usually cost prohibitive, people don't, then you're going to replace the springs. You're going to be replacing the brakes. Like the springs, if you take care of them, you're going to probably get 8-9 years of life out of them. If you don't do anything to them, you're probably only going to get 3 or 4 years, maybe not even that with them. So it is a requirement, it is a necessity, it is kind of a pain, and it is an expense. Okay, but when you get up to the larger trailers, it is a good idea. And